Hi, everyone. Welcome to this live transmission. I have today my dear Adriana Merzgova from shiningbluelight.com. She's not only one of my dearest friends. We had the pleasure to connect, to reunite at the Rise of the Guardians last year. We have the upcoming Rise of the Guardians now in Sedona, May 8th to the 10th. Yet we will be touching upon that in a bit. And well, I just wanted to say that ever since, it has been a magnificent journey, a lot of wholeness, getting to know one another, our skills, what brought us together. We were in Mexico recently in the Divine Awakening trip that Sean and I organized in Mexico. And we had such a divine time, such amazing experiences, a lot of heart expansion, all about unity consciousness. So quite a journey we have had for about a year now, almost a year now. Yeah. And as you know, I have been sharing lately some of my frequencies that I usually share, yet with the big difference that now I have been incorporating Adriana's sounding bowls. She will show to us in a bit her full collection. It's like a library going on there, a crystal ball library there. And well, she's very good at it. She's very, very good at it. And not only at that, she also goes into manifestation, quantum jumping, and many other things that we will be touching upon today. So the topics that we will be covering today, most of you will feel very related to, as what manifestation is. That's a business that involves everyone. So Adriana is very good at that. We all are. The thing is that when you get to develop, to master it, then it's very beautiful when you get to share with others, like we are here right now sharing with you guys. So having said this, welcome, Adriana.
Thank you, Isha. Thank you for having me. It has been such a blessing to find each other yet again in this lifetime. And I think meeting in Sedona was just absolute pure love and the supernova of meeting each other, watching you on the stage and remembering things with you. And your trip to Mexico with Sean was just tremendous, life-changing to say the least, in every aspect. So if anyone's ever considering to do any journeys with Isha, highly, highly recommended. Also, having done with you the source code journey, it was just tremendous. I think you have that coming up, right? You're doing that in a group setting, right?
Yes, yes, you're right.
Please tell us more about it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I would love for you to share a little bit of your experience on that, because I know that when I talk about two words that mainly will take you to only source, or like a master key that opens everything, you won't be thinking about your geometrical light body. Yet that's what source code is.
Correct.
It's the code that it's the pure transmission of source through you as a fractal of it. Therefore, it's the most evolved version of yourself. Why? Because it's the light version of yourself, is the geometrical light version of yourself. We know that the universal language is geometry. So therefore, when you fully ignite it, it's like fully activating your brain, because then you're speaking the language of source. Therefore, you start to create from that language, from that level of consciousness. And what could for most people would be very complex, which is attaining a unity consciousness, for you starts to be inherent, because you are seeing those codes, because source is existing through you. The level of evolution that you get to experience, to render, to experience after that, the translation of your source code is immense. Adriana can tell you that, like so many things happening so quickly in a good way, because again, you are aligning to the most coherent state, to your most coherent state from the most evolved version of yourself, your mission, everything that is required for you to accomplish your mission, being in the right place with the right people at the right moment, start to being constants that they're so easier to attain. Why? Because whatever was distracting you, you're not speaking anymore that language. And I'm not saying that there won't be distractions or this or that. I'm saying that the way that you will be resolving it will come so organically advanced that you start being a purer expression of source here on earth. And also something very important, um, we all not only are infinite power sources, beyond limited physicality, we are also, we as we are power sources, we also have our inner arc of the covenant. The source code is the key for you to access to that arc of the covenant, to that unification, and also to retrieve the spatial arc that belongs to you here on earth or off earth. This is super important. I almost don't talk about this because perhaps some people don't feel identified with this. Yet this is super important, mostly if you know what is coming up in the next stages of evolution. Thank you, Adriana, for asking. I don't
No,
know.
no, I wanted to talk about it because, I have started with you in May around my birthday to do the source code, and it was quite a bit of a journey. Everything that you touched upon was, coming into my true self, connecting to the divine, but it was through different levels of classes. Also, I think we all know manifestation as manifestation, we're watched, I don't know, Joe Dispenza out there, master your thoughts, and as you master your thoughts, you master your reality. And this is a quite different level because as as you get to connect with your true self, right? I was always a seer. I can always see things for people since I was really small, and I can see what's good for them. If they listen to me, I can convince them what's good for them. I can help them, manifest their thoughts. I can help them change their thoughts to create their reality. I was very good at that. But that was my limit, so to speak, right? And then doing the source code with you was that inner knowing, that connection with, the source, with the divine source, with myself, next level connecting, next level manifesting. Something I really did enjoy is throughout the course, you do teach one how to connect right through the navel. and then how to create your own plasma, and then how to use that own plasma for manifestations, also how to change things, transmute them, what to do with them. Because we're always told, oh, if you don't want to deal with it, just banish it or get rid of it. Like, don't face your shadow, right? That's what this reality and society teaches. So you do teach how to heal that shadow, how to work with that shadow, what to do with it throughout the course. So every one session that we have had throughout your course, it was so significant. And then actually getting to see a beautiful drawing on my soul was such a surprise, because as you see, my name is Shining Blue Light. The energies I bring through are blue, right? I've always seen blue sparks of light, electric blue shining here and there. People which are somewhat psychic will always say, oh yeah, there's blue around you. I see blue, right? A lot of fairy energy. And so when you drew my code and it was green, my first take was, my code is green? Oh my God. How is it green? I mean, I love green, my favorite color, besides blue, and kind of in between blue, turquoise, kind of being in between of the two. Right, but where did the green from? And you're like, oh, that's your thought connection. That's your emerald tablets. That is the divine order. That is the integrity that you hold. And it just like opened up that green in my heart, because that was something I really resonated with, holding the integrity of everyone. Because as you go throughout my manifestation course, I'm always teaching people, no, we're going to manifest the one thing. Have the integrity, have the discipline in your mind to go for that one thing until it manifests. Because if you're splurging your energy in 5 different directions, you're not manifesting, opposed to using that entire energy just for that one thing, which is something you teach in that course, right? It's like, use the energy from your navel to manifest exactly what you wish, right? And I've been using that since, and that was how I manifested my trips to Egypt, which my source code was drawn and my music was made for Egypt for me. And just having gone there and walked into each temple and is instructed by you, activating the source code and that moment in present, I literally, as I would activate, I kid you not, as I stood there, I would feel it like this, realigning inside of my body, connecting me to that primordial mother, matrix, right? And then I was entering the place without being connected to, being an empath, easily connecting to all the other people or the guards. None of that. I
Okay, so
knew with the, go on.
yeah, because you're touching upon so many things that
I
okay,
know.
so yeah, just a little bit intro when Adriana is saying that opening your source code in various like in the temples, you can do it everywhere you go. The difference is we are aware more and more each time that we live in a holographic projection. So every time that you go to a place, you're entering the field of the algorithm dictated by the source program that is continuously rendering the matrix, the artificial matrix, the simulation reality. Okay. Yet when you, everywhere that you go, you unfold your source code, then you're entering to your own universe. So you're going beyond the algorithm. This is super important. There are many things, there are many ways to use your source code, even to stabilize your field, rotation. Anyway, this is why it's so rich in content. So thank you for bringing this up, Adriana. But like, so when you unfold your source code and enter to any space, you're entering to your own universe. When you go to bed, you're entering to your own universe within the realm, the oniric realm, the astral one, and any realm that you're heading to while you're sleeping. So that's one. The other one that I want to share is that when you're saying about tools for manifestation, right? We talk about coherence. So you're saying that um, like we share the fact that it's very important to keep coherence in order to manifest.
Correct.
So would you say to people that if they want to manifest, if they have different boxes of intended manifestations, to leave them aside and just focus in one by one, otherwise the energy is dispersed? That's one question. And the other one would be, okay, they can put their energy in two things, three things at a time, let's say. But would you say that distraction from this simulation reality is one of the things that would influence the most the impact in the manifestation that people have?
I would, yes. Because as we know, we have patterns from childhood, and it could be from the mother, father, sister, brother, uncle, whomever, teacher at the school. We are definitely programmed since age 0 to 7, and those programs are the strongest programs that we have. Matter of fact, so let's say you're trying to manifest, I don't know, a new car, right? But the belief is car payment, it's a lot of money. And then it's, insurance is going to be even more money. I don't know if I have a good enough credit. Why would I ever get a new car? They depreciate really fast. Like, let's say these are all the programs that you have running around you. And so every time you go, thank you, universe, I would like to get, universe gives you, if anything shows up in your reality kind of as a possibility, it's usually a hunch. The universe wants you to have it because you would have never thought of it unless it's already yours. Okay. So when you go, oh, I think I can lose 30 pounds, because 30 pounds lighter exists somewhere, because you having that car exists somewhere, because you having that job that you always dreamed of already exists somewhere. So it's just universe saying like, hey, do you want this? Because here, I want to give it. But you have to be very precise and concise and have the integrity and purity of the thoughts, really manifesting that one thing at a time. So I have discovered that if you are giving your energy to 5 different things, it's good to have that vision board and to know 5 things that you want. But if you notice, even if you're manifesting on a vision board, you always get the one thing first. And it will be something easiest to you possibly. Or it will happen to your best friend. Like, let's say you want a truck and your best friend just manifests a truck. And this is where a lot of people get very disheartened, which is what I see with a lot of, old programming is, that person got the truck I was supposed to get, and now I'm never going to get it, right? Like, they took my luck away. They took my manifestation away. That's something that I deal with a lot with my clients. And it's simply universe was showing you how easy it was for that person to get that truck because they don't have that block in them. And they were teaching, showing you the way, showing you the path. That's how universe works. They always give you someone that's manifesting or has something that you really want, and they showing it to you. Oh, it's easy. Why are you putting that block? Why do you have that belief in your head from the matrix, right? That it's not keeping us aligned out of integrity. So it's you really going back to that one thing. So I hope that I answer your question. Yes, just try to stay concentrated on the one thing at a time. You can wish for 5 things, but let's do one. And then matrix will do its job to keep you in the old energies of I can't have it and this why, or it can never happen to me and that's why, or I don't know, whatever reason that you give yourself out in this universe. And so that's why the change of the thoughts, getting back into coherence, right? It takes some time. What I've discovered takes about 28 days to repattern the brain, with the new beliefs, with the new thoughts, saying it every day, reprogramming the subconscious, especially to kind of sink in, or using the boxes. But we got to visit the box and, send the energy to the box every day in order to manifest.
Yeah, that's so powerful and so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this with everyone. You see, this is just a tip of all the wisdom and the knowledge that Adriana has on manifestation. We will keep on diving into that right now. So, okay, you were mentioning that, and I love the way that you said it. It's when you want something and a mirror to you gets it, and if you come from a separated form of consciousness, like all this jealousy and envy and will start
Mhm.
rising up. If you come from unity consciousness, you will see it precisely like that, like a form of a bridge to actually for you to achieve what you want. And I believe that this is fundamental as well regarding to manifestation, unity consciousness. Why? Because you also mentioned that if you thought about it, it's because it already is. In another spatiotemporal constant, it already is. So when we are aware that our consciousness is not finite in one coordinate here, yet it expands through the multidimensional realms all the way through the space memory network, and we can access through to any spatiotemporal constant where that is happening as we speak, then the more that you mimetize and generate, in other words, generate empathy. This is also a very interesting topic because we go into onto a biological level. We have in our genes also in a dormant state the capability of mimicry. So we can actually, whether not only cloak ourselves through mimicry, yet mirror those codes that other version of ourselves already has. How? Not only through here, through visualization, through here feeling thankful that the other version of yourself has it, and that is showing to you that you are already ready to have it. Why? Because you became aware of that. You saw that version of yourself, so you're ready to receive that. you know and that would very much go to the heart expansion, to the heart vortex expansion. What do you think about that?
Absolutely, because one of the rules that I'm always teaching is you think it, right? You close your eyes. You have to close your eyes to close off the outside stimuli. So it's easier to stay in yourself as you close your eyes. So you're thinking it, and then you send it in your heart to feel it, because that feeling generates that thank you, universe. I already have it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That version of me already has it. Then you speak it out loud through your throat, which is your manifestation, your expression of your truth. Thank you, thank you, thank you, right? And then you use your solar plexus, right? In your visualization, as your eyes are closed, you're thinking it, you're feeling it, you said it, thank you, universe. You see your future self or alternate reality self having it. And another small tip that I will give here, this is a strong manifestation technique, is you will take your dominant hand, whether it's right or the left, doesn't matter, whatever you write with, and you're going to reach from your stomach, from your solar plexus, into that alternate universe, self, solar plexus, okay? And you're going to pull them into you. And this works so strong and profound because you bringing that into you that this coherence is becoming coherent, right? You're becoming coherent without thinking it can never happen, right? You're just believing and feeling and being thankful for. So this is creating an opening in the heart, in the solar plexus, pulling in that version of yourself and just feeling that it's already there, that it's already yours. So yes, heart unity consciousness, thought unity consciousness, right? Your ring unity consciousness, which is something with the source code. Back to the source code, it does connect you into seventh and ninth dimension, into unity consciousness, where we are all love. And in that place where we are all love, there are infinite possibilities, really. So, as a result, in those infinite possibilities, anything can happen, which, by the way, is my favorite life motto: anything can happen.
I I couldn't agree more, and also you mentioned empathy. Empathy can be very much related to focus on or coherence,
Correct.
because empathy is one of the most powerful tools or weapons that we can have. If we feel an indirect empathy to things through rejection, because that's a form of empathy. Empathy, it's not only about liking, it's about resonance.
Mhm,
Unconscious resonance, it's also part of it. So
mhm.
if you feel that kind of indirect empathy, then that can be a harmful tool for weapon for you. If you direct empathy to actually know, and this is a very powerful word that sometimes it triggers guilt or other type of recessive programs in people when and the word is deserve. It's like you deserve to be happy. And then, but I did, or done, or tan, or tan. And the thing is that if we really go into the unity consciousness, if we really go into the holographic nature, into the quantum nature of reality, if we go into the quantum field and so forth, you will see that everything works through resonance. So every choice that you have made in your life was not isolated by means of, you were not deliberately, selfishly making a choice. No, you were orchestrated along with a very specific group of beings to deliver a very specific outcome that in between all of you manifested. So you served with your energy for that purpose. When you truly comprehend that, then everything is serving a purpose and that you're ready to move on. Your presence right here, right now. And what truly is important is what you're doing now, because now you're configuring another reality, you are rendering another creation, and that's what it comes now. And also another thing is that if also we go through the simulation theory, which for me is more than a theory, a lot of us, we can already see the hologram, we can see the algorithms running through. The source code also helps you a lot to activate that. So when you see that type of reality, um, then you know that if we know that we are creating ripples in time like this, all that, like, and the Mandela effect and so forth, what was the past is, and this has now been proved by quantum mechanics, that through your presence you can modify your past.
Correct.
Guys, like, be really aware of that.
Yes,
So
you
if
do.
at some point you felt that you made a choice that wasn't the best at that moment, if you focus your energy right here, right now, to know that you are the omnipresent fractal, that you're the omnipresence as a fractal of source, and that you expand through the whole field, and that you can access to that most evolved version of yourself and make a choice right here, right now, and that choice will shift, will reconfigure that which you didn't like very much about yourself. Yet the key is doing it through love, not guilt, not feeling bad about yourself or hating another one. No, heart expansion. Because if you are asking for the universe, for that manifestation that we name, that will be what we name love, which for source is bliss, is coherence, harmonics, then you shall also bring it in, share it, expand it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna tag on to that if I may.
Yes, absolutely.
Very often what I do see, the good questions that I get from my clients is, okay, if I quantum jump into next reality, what happens to this version of me? The worried, the guilty, the sinful, the one who doesn't have it, like they feel so guilty and so proud of that old version of themselves. And I always tell them, your new reality is going to cost you your old one. Your new life is going to cost you your old life. That's what we have to let go, right? And so the way I do it, you call it through love, I call it through forgiveness. So the easiest thing to do is to forgive yourself for not having known better in the past, right? So going into that past and understanding, why did I make that mistake, and why did I make these choices, right? That anger that's attached, and that blame and guilt, and I should have and would have and could have, that version served you really well. And so let's give it love because it didn't know any better. Okay. He did the best that he could in that given moment, choosing the choice that he has made from the best that he has known. Okay. And that goes really deep. And so having that empathy, having the compassion for your old self that made the choice, that now that you have a better knowledge and a wisdom from the experience that has taken place, you're judging and bashing, you are so angry at, right? Now it's time to forgive it so that we can iron the wrinkle out, so that there is coherence between the two, so that we can move forward and start manifesting without any guilty feeling, shame, anger attached to it, right? So that's the key in the order to move forward. You call it love, I call it, forgiveness. Love being in the 7th, 8th, 9 dimensions of love, connections, unity, consciousness, whichever way you want to call it. So we forgive that in the order to move forward. Yeah.
Well, actually, now if you say that, it's like how I see forgiveness, which is awesome, would be a type of non-locality, because you're detaching, you're letting go. So for the ones that that are not familiar to what non-locality is in quantum physics, in the quantum physics world, non-locality is the capability that atoms, that molecules within its core components have to, for instance, transfer one electron to another molecule and then ionize the state, or even more when we're talking about a proton quantum tunneling from here and transferring its consciousness to any infinite space of the space memory network. That's a quantum nature that we have. They are non-localized. They are not attached only to one molecule. They are capable, or that's or so even more so to any atom. They are capable to go back and forward in between dimensions, interconnecting to other fields at different levels of energy density. That's happening as we speak. That's actually how we remember, how we recall, how we bring in our memories. It's not that we have all the archives here, stored in nanoparticles. Yes, they are stored, but how can they be stored in such a nanoparticle? And the thing is that through very specific Einstein-Rosenberg bridges, which are wormholes, we from one particle are capable to travel to anywhere that we want. So just bringing this to the table, because this is something that I also work very much with, and Adriana knows, is that to navigate through the quantum field, because it feels like so needed, because that's what we are constantly doing. So That's if you want to forgive, like beautifully Adriana said, that's what it's already in you. You don't need to practice it as a fact of learning it. It's already in you. Your atoms, the components in your atoms are doing it at every moment of your presence here on earth. So you just need to access to that information and learn how to let go of energy. And this is where I'm heading now to, because you're awesome with the emotional body. So the way that I approach to the emotional body is as energy. Like the moment that you connect with your emotions through the plot of what happened, like all the drama involved and so forth, then it activates that survival mode within you. Why? Because you're just protecting yourself from this simulation reality and just trying to get by, every day. So then the emotional body is, but like in a very toxic way, is very much related to the survival mode. Now, there is the other part of the emotional body, that the one that brings in the mastery, which is the capability of actually knowing that every emotion that you're feeling has a sacred purpose, which is creating fuel, to say it somehow. Not fuel as a finite fuel, yet as infinite energy fuel. That's where we're heading to, because emotions are finite. So this is also what I want to touch upon, and would love to know what you think about this. But if emotions are finite, are they the analogy of fuel as petroleum, as gas, So then what would be the next stage for us to create infinite energy, not only through finite emotions, yet making it through the infinite energy? What do you think about that?
Okay. So I'm going to reel back a little bit and then kind of arrive where you're at currently. So often what you talked about, like toxic patterns, it's toxic old emotion. It's an old way of thinking. I call it from point A to point B. So I always got there this way, and I'm always going to go there that way because it's safe, and I'm just going to keep doing it, right? And those are the old outdated beliefs in the brain. And so, when a person comes and we do a lot of relationship manifestations, any kind of relationships all over, kind of an expertise on that. So I always did that, and it has always worked or it has never worked. And I'm like, okay, so how are we going to manifest what we want? By doing what we always did, right? Even Einstein said that. It's just not going to work. We have to take ourselves out of that. So we have to repattern, bring those thoughts, new thoughts, different thoughts in your brain, new pathways. So whatever worked from here till here, and now we're going to change. We're going to go a different way to get there, right? And so, because we always attach the emotion to it. Well, they said this, and then I said that, and then they said this, and then I said that. And guess what? I won. Like, it's very charged emotionally, and that is the fuel. Because even that emotional charge of anger gives you a lot of fuel to manifest something else, right? So we were taught from the childhood that if you cry, you get attention. And if you scream, you get attention. And if you get mad, everybody goes, oh no, why are you mad? Yeah. So here's your deep emotional response. If you fall down, if you cry, what happened? How can I help you? Right. So as a result, coming into the infinite consciousness and love consciousness and unity consciousness that you speak of, and instead of using the toxic fuels, fossil fuels that we're driving current cars with, or, feeding our emotional body with these emotions, whether, oh, I feel good today, and no, I don't feel so good today, and I have to say 50 Hail Marys or 50 mantras to feel better. You know what I mean? Like, And then you do change your energy and you do change your chemistry by saying that, because you're just taking yourself out of that old feeling into a new feeling, which now it's enlightened, but it's tied to something else, right? Because all these patterns, the reason that we have these patterns, back to your quantum, the reason we take someone else's beliefs is because they have that path, and we now know how to take that path, because coming into quantum, it's all black, shiny here, shiny there. But where do I go? What do I choose, right? Like having so much responsibility that I can navigate my own life and make up my own choices. It's very overwhelming. So we take beliefs of the mother, of the father, of the best friend. Oh, this one became a millionaire. I'm going to read their book and I'm going to become a millionaire just like they did. And then I take all of their attachments included, because they have that attachment, but it's a path, right? I'm going to follow their path. So we stay attached in that, following someone else's path opposed to creating our own. Because once you detach from the emotions, once you go into the observer mode, I like to call it a diamond mode above your head, right? Which is actually 7th, 8th, 9th, right? That's when you are in that pure bliss, which is what you're calling about. Because once you're in a pure bliss, you're just creating continuously. Pure bliss is continuous. It stays with you. You're in that unity consciousness, in that love. I love you, you love me, everything loves me, we are one, right? I am you, you are me. There's coherence between all of us, back and forth at every moment, so that anything that pops in my head that I desire or that I see or that I would like to be part of just shows up easy and effortlessly, in that reality, because I'm not following anyone's path. I'm not following my old path. I'm not following my old beliefs and all the attachments that come with it and all the emotions, right? Opposed to that, I'm creating from pure bliss. They say if you meditate a lot, you can stay in that pure bliss, right, over your heart. And, you can connect. And usually when people meditate, they become enlightened. And the biggest gap for them, I guess, it's something you teach, something I teach, right? It's how to merge the spiritual and the 3D. And that's why, we're here, we're teaching, we're sharing. How do you have it all and become part of one? So would you like to talk more about it? I can't hear you.
Thank you. Yeah, my cat was in the background, like saying his opinion.
Of course. It's like,
But I didn't
Sheila,
want
this
him
is how
to
you do it.
interrupt you. Yeah. But anyway, so I was, yeah, I agree. I agree with everything that you say. And again, I love the way that you put it together. I feel it very nourishing. And I know that the soul tribe that is joining us and that will be joining us in this transmission is being very much nourished by your words. And, it's like, how I see this next step of evolving the emotional body, because it's impressive how even the emotional body is so anchored into our memories. It's like, you want to remember something. Okay, so like the easiest way for you to remember something is to catalyze an emotion, whether if it's positive, whether if it's negative. But if you experience that level of emotion, like polarized emotion, or energy, because polarized energy, it will anchor. And this is something very interesting, just to touch basically upon it. This universe, along with the earth, works through dipoles, which is polarization. So, do we need to reject that polarization? Because for me, the emotional toxic body is precisely the translation of the rejection of our own polarized nature. I will say why. Oh, I don't want to go so down into my emotions, like someone saying that he's so tired or she's so tired, about going through those emotional outbursts. Okay, That's happening a lot. Even more so with these solar storms. There are weird energies filtering in, activating as very specific entities, trying to activate very specific neural pathways. It's not that the solar storms are bad, it's the fact that we are not using that energy on our behalf, because then it's energy in repose, like like just a stagnant energy that is not serving any purpose. So then another force will hijack that plasma and use it for other purposes. So now, what would be the way of actually accepting our polarized nature? Because that polarization is what creates consciousness. That's what creates the vacuum, the torsion, and then singularity, us going into deeper and higher levels or more advanced forms of consciousness. That precisely. The thing is that through the time system, as we haven't been educated to flow through our heart, and this is very much what we saw on the trip, it was not about the time outside. It was about the time that dictated by the heart. So when you restore this type of time, then you bring coherence, and then you're not stuck in that polarization, because through the distortion of time, it's like you stay years and years and years, just to like to go very dramatic into the example, but you go years into one of those poles, and then perhaps like this into the other pole, and then years and years. So all that decoherence is the way that the wisdom of the universe has translated, and also due to the simulation, they anchored it that way. But the universe has made itself resilient to that in order to sustain this reality. Otherwise, we would have been already washed out. So, and also this reality was created based on that nature, that polarized vacuum nature of reality. So then, by standing or elongating those states of polarization, is that we made our emotional body toxic. If we take those emotions, remove the tag, the emotional tag, and bring it just as energy through the rhythm of the heart. Okay, energy come in through the hyperspace, vacuum, boom, expansion, 0 point energy. Then our emotional body will evolve. Isn't that the galactic groups, their emotional body is very different from ours?
Correct.
Is due to that, due to the time lock. Nevertheless, due to this, is that we have empowered our heart. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here anymore. It would be too hard.
Correct. Well, I think it's, a lot of people love to play in the drama. Love the drama. Love that opposing energies that you just described between the two. It makes them feel alive. So, I'm going to tell them this, and then they're going to tell me that. And so the number one key to releasing yourself out of the karmic wheel, as you know, it's the wheel of karma. It just keeps going. I tell you this, you tell me this, and here we are playing the game all over again, and it's going in a circle. And the only way out of the karma, out of the circle, it's really going above, right? So the forgiveness or the love, it's the only thing where you're going to say, oh, I see what you're doing there, but I love you anyway. And it doesn't matter what you do, what you're trying to do. I see that you're trying to hurt me on purpose, but I love you anyway. And so by saying that, you're detaching. And you see what's happening with the wheel? You just stepped out. And as you stepped out, you go into higher vibration. and you're here and you're not a match with this person anymore. It happens a lot in relationships, but forgiveness and love could be that. And it's like also happens, let's say you're in a job and you have a really bad boss or a coworker and you're just like, I can't take it anymore, I'm quitting tomorrow. It's the same thing. You quit, you just remove yourself out of that because you learned that lesson. That's basically what you're telling universe. I'm done with that lesson. I don't want to play anymore. It's not fun. Sandbox over. I'm changing the sandbox. I'm going to go play with someone else who's here, who's at my level, who's, more professional, more this, more that, and then allows that person to rise higher to meet you there, or allows somebody completely new to come in there, meet and start learning new lessons with you. That's why we come on this earth. We come here for these lessons because people go, why am I doing this? Why is it again? Why did I sign up for this? Why am I alive? Like, who asked for this? Why did I ask for this? So many jokes on the internet, reading the fine print. And I said, I'm going to do this. And I said, I'm going to do that. Yes, you did, because you wanted to learn, because somewhere you were too much in this side. And now you came completely opposite on this side because you're meant to go back in coherence in the middle, get back into balance and learn that lesson. You were looking at it here and you were looking at it there. I have a time and again, as I'm looking at someone's past life, I usually look at the origin point of where an emotional wrinkle occur, and it'll be completely opposite of what it is right now. Like, you were so disempowered, here you are super empowered, or you were so empowered, here you are completely disempowered, and you're in the middle. So the key is really healing, balancing, straightening all of those emotions, and which way you're gonna get there. Like, there's different ways to get there. There's many paths to the top of the mountain, so choose one. Choose the teacher that's right for you. Choose the one that speaks to your heart, right? That will get that heart back in coherence, back to you, back to owning and taking responsibility, which is a lot for a lot of people, taking responsibility that they play in that wheel of karma. Like, it's never the one person. I always tell people there's two, or it's not happening. Oh, no, I'm the victim. Okay, then, if that's what you feel, then you're going to stay there, But what part are you playing in that relationship? What are you allowing? What are you settling less for? Where is your worth that you deserve more, which you speak about deserving, right? So
Yes. Yes, that's beautiful. You're talking about that wheel, and the first thing that came to me is, like, even like the pendant that I have is
and the
a
ring.
face, a half face. Oh, beautiful. This is the half face of an alive being, the representation of death. So you have death and rebirth, or
Mm-hmm.
death and life, which is a continuous cycle. But yet the thing that came to me first while you were talking about this wheel is an image of Anubis that is running a wheel in Dendera, in the
Mm-hmm.
temple of Dendera in Egypt. So, and he also represents, one of the things that he represents is the aspect of death and life, or rebirth to the eternal life. So again, and then you talk about like how relations can behave, and at every level. It doesn't have to be, in between, let's say, partners or girlfriend and boyfriend, or however. uh,
Family members usually the most karmic.
yeah, I know about clients and employees.
Yeah.
Those are also really, really can be really, really tough regarding to solve agreements. you know and but anyway, because even some people take their job as their second home. you know but anyway, you
Yeah,
know
often let's say people don't enter in a relationship. So I'm going to stay single. I'm not going to date anyone because I don't want to, get that karma from relationships. And then you'll have a coworker and it'll be a very similar karma to what you're not facing by not wanting to be in a relationship. But back to you, please.
yes. No, it's okay, you know for me, the level of apprentice, let's say, we are here to activate, as how I perceive it, activate codes within one another. You know, sometimes those codes will lead us to deep configurations that perhaps were a little bit roasted, and they are hurtful, but they need to move in order so that they are not comfortable anymore. And then they will lead you to the next stage. That's another way to see it.
Yes.
And the thing is that the more attached that we are to an outcome, and this is super interesting because I would love also for you to comment with that regarding to manifestation, because sometimes people, it's like, I think this is something that influences a lot. Like when you chase a manifestation and it forcefully needs to be as you say, then you're not getting it right. As like, it's very important to be very specific. Nevertheless, in the path how it's weaving, if you come from a space of lack or doubt, then that will turn out to be frustrating. But like, just brushing the subject before jumping in there. So now, when we are talking about I said being detached to the outcome, it's not that you don't show order in your manifestation or commandments to receive as you say, as you command, as you more than wish, as you command. The detachment to the outcome is an alchemy. Again, how I experience it is an alchemy before the manifestation, in which you know that it already is. So therefore, you don't need to be pulling in strings that will just sabotage your own manifestation. The more self, like the more certainty that you have, and the certainty again does not come from the ego. The ego helps, yes, it's very useful because then it won't be putting any limits. Nevertheless, the certainty comes from the heart. Remember this. At least if you're in resonance with my words and with Adriana is saying, the certainty comes from the heart, because the heart has memories, to the purest memories, where it's most likely that you are already embodying that. So your heart is telling you, yes, it's right, it's already there, don't worry, it's there, it's here actually. What do you think about that, Adriana?
I think what you're describing, it's very beautiful, and it takes a lot of coherence to be able to get into that space, Isha. So most likely what I deal with, regular people will say, oh, I want to manifest XYZ and I don't know how to get there, meaning I don't even have a path in my mind. Like, first one is, I want to meet a partner. Okay, do you have a safe love? Self-love. The answer will be, I don't know what self-love is. And they will just look at me very blank, right? And so first we have to install the pathways for about a month, because it takes 21 to 28 days to change the old patterns and install the new patterns of what that self-love is. And I'm just using this as an example. So that then once you have that self-love installed, you can actually meet someone who can mirror that back to you, because you have the patterns now. Until then, people will say, oh, I meet so many people and they're all wrong people. Universe will always give you things to try on. Do you like this pair of pants? Does it look good? No. Do I like that shirt? Does it feel good? And they say, why do I keep meeting the wrong people? You keep meeting the wrong people because they're showing you what you don't want. And it's up to you to come to the conclusion, I don't want that. No, thank you. Even as we start manifesting and we're in a course and they'll say, I say your exes might pop up because they're coming in from karmic resolution, and you're always going to get tested by universe. Did you truly learn? Or are you going to go back in the old that feels comfortable, back to the old same neural pathway? Or are you going to say, let's say somebody says, I dated this alcoholic and I don't ever want to date alcoholics. And then here they are doing the course and they're starting new and they go, I met this wonderful person and it made me feel great. But I think they drink a lot. But I think that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to say, the red flag. But they're a wonderful person, but you already learned this is a red flag. So just say no, thank you, right? Like, no, thank you. I know what my integrity, what my worth, what my value, what my purity in my heart, what I deserve is. And people have a hard time believing that second person or third or fourth and fifth is going to show up, or job, second, third, fourth, fifth, right? And they go often from familiar situation into familiar situation, manifesting the same thing because they're not doing that inner work of changing, right? Like, that's what we're talking about. So that is those old emotions that they feel comfortable. We go right back into it, right? And then we're continuing to manifest that all over again. Did that answer the question?
Yes, yes. It's and it actually led to as always many other topics. Like for instance, um, there is something that you touched upon, which is certainty.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we both did, and the thing is that sometimes I ask myself, because we already know, and we have talked about this in private, when we were at the trip in Mexico, in those beautiful hot springs. And we were saying that sometimes being an oracle, it's tough on the side that where already the things are heading to. And yet you also know that to some extent you have to continue experiencing that so that the full knowledge is accomplished, and then other things emerge from that, the ones that are now upcoming, waiting for you, upcoming and waiting for you. So now the question to myself is, if we move at the pace of the heart, at the rhythm of the heart, beyond whether if you already need to make a choice, or because there is a deadline, or it can be the other way around, like sometimes you are just, falling asleep and the universe is telling you, hey, dude, like you need to make a choice. You're truly running out of cosmic time because this is your third hoop. You really need to do something about it. So in between those two ranges of reality is how to get that perfect attunement, when you're not over pushing yourself, or actually, bringing you down because you are still somewhere that you are. And I'm talking, for instance, about a work. How many of you guys that are watching this show are in a job that you don't feel in full resonance with? And you also mentioned this in the beginning, Adriana, because perhaps you're thinking about, ooh, how am I going to pay the bills? Ooh, how am I going to do this? Ooh, what, and mostly is about, how am I going to let go of this if there is not something here already? People feels comfortable. Once I have something here, okay, and then I let go. Otherwise, it's that arcane of the tarot, like the Fool. The thing is that there are as well mainly two types of Fool. fools, the one that just jumps into the cliff without even touching upon its heart and saying, okay, this is what I want to do, what it feels correct. It's just doing it because, out of impulse or reaction, reactivity. And the other one that has contemplated all the constants, and even though it seems like something very um, uh, um, very irresponsible, that reckless, then it's not. Actually, it's something coming from the high coherence. So that's how I solve my question, bottom line. It's like the heart is capable to let us know when we're fooling ourselves in the process, or when we are actually moving in coherence to the cosmic plan. How? How do you know it's truly your heart, and how do you know you can know it's not your ego, playing as your heart? For me, and I would love to know for you how it is. For me, it is the knowingness that I expand through the answer. Like I expand through my choice. If my choice makes me feel like this, the universe didn't bring us here to sacrifice ourselves at all. That's another program, you know? And that program was very much attached to knowing what truly is our sacred mission. Because the word sacrifice in Latin is the sacred office, sacro officio. So that is what is our sacred office. And then we know that we were educated for everything but that, to be for the others, to be for the systems, for the institutions. So what is truly your sacred office? You being by yourself, you're your most profound and divine mission. So whatever makes you feel contracted, then you can feel whether this is resistance that you are pulling through, to change, because that can also happen, or whether because it's not bringing coherence to your reality. So, like simplifying into two: resistance or the coherence, which is difference. It's different because the resistance, you can be in a situation and accepting it. If you still feel the contraction, even if you're in peace, you still feel the contraction, then the heart is saying no. I'm sharing from my experience. If your heart is expanded, you're accepting, and you're feeling no contraction, then you have a bandwidth, a time frame, a bandwidth of time, a time frame that is still allowing you to move through a very specific situation. What would you say about that, Adriana?
Oh, I think that's extremely powerful. I think as you were explaining this, you absolutely took us all into the ninth dimension, because I was kind of floating above my body as I was listening to you, and my reality was dissolving around me as you spoke. So thank you for that. That was extremely, extremely powerful. I felt that in my heart.
Thank you.
I think the basic human doesn't know how to trust their heart. We were never taught to trust our heart. We were told what we're supposed to do. And when we go to school, we're supposed to obey the orders. When we go to church, we were supposed to obey the orders. When we drive the car, we're obeying the laws, right? At all times, we're law-abiding citizens. And so we don't trust ourselves. We're never taught. We started by trusting our gut feeling. Some of us started getting the gut feeling, and then they go, oh, my gut's telling me, but can I really trust it? Because I don't know what that feels like to actually trust myself. So first key, it's learning to trust your gut feeling, the little hunches that are coming in, the guidance that's trying to come in through your head. And then second of all, once you do that, then it's sitting with your heart. For me, it was sitting for years of meditation, 13 years to be exact, in a lot of alone time, meditating, getting to know my heart. And I'm not saying it's same for everyone and you're going to take 13 years. That was just my path. We all have a completely different path. Along the way, you ask, and when you ask, you shall receive, right? That is what is written. That's what how universe responds. So if you come with that belief of a small inner child that I ask and I will receive, then you receive it that fast, because it happens because your heart is that open. And if you think, oh, I'm going to ask, but then it has to be this way, and it has to be that way, and it has to be that way, and it has to be that way, but universe don't give me this, right? Do you realize what you just did? By saying it has to be this way, you put a block. And then you say it has to be that way, you put a second block. And then it has to be that way, you put a third block. And then you say, no, only that way. That's a fourth block. So this is you not trusting the divine. This is as if you're a child and your mother had you, he carried you in a womb and birthed you, and he knows you to the tiniest T, right? And he wants to give you everything that you ever can dream of. And he's on your beck and call of, baby, what do you want? And you trying to tell the mother, you don't know me. You don't know what I want. And it has to be this way, mom. And it has to be that way, mom. And so the mom stands there and it's like, okay, I want to give it to you this way. Universe is the same way. You want it that way? Okay. But now it's going to take me longer to align that. And now it's going to take me longer to align that. And now it's going to take me longer to align that. You know, and those are the things that we put in a universe, opposed to just being in your heart and saying, the perfect car is out there for me. Thank you, universe, for showing it to me. But, you know, be a little bit more precise. You know, do you want the car fully paid off? Do you want it to be 10 years old? Do you want it to be brand new? Do you want it 5 years old? You know, kind of assessing, having the experience of, but you can just say, thank you for a new car. It will be gifted to me. Right. And there's no block in this universe of you receiving that car just from anyone, except there will be a programming that you talked about. Who would ever give me a car? There is no way someone's going to give me a car. I'm completely foolish to believe that, right? Like there's all these different programs you're talking about out of guilt that somebody has interest in those programs. And so they're siphoning that energy you could be using for, thank you, universe, for my new car that it will be completely gifted to me, comes to me easily and effortlessly, shows up in my universe, easy peasy, thank you. And then you detach. You detach because it is already done. Do you know when it was done? The moment you thought and said and formulated this thought in your head, it was completely done that moment. It is already yours at that moment. Okay? Everything else, where is the car? Why is the car not showing up? I asked the universe, why? Why didn't you bring it yet? I've been sitting here. Come on. You know, how long is it going to take? So that not having, that just right here, what I just said right now, has told universe, I don't believe it that I have it. So the second that I put it out there, you know, where is it? How come it didn't come? How long will I have to wait? That showed universe, oh, she doesn't think she has it. Okay, so we're not going to give it because she doesn't have it. Clearly, she needs a lesson of waiting and believing and getting her faith stronger and getting these thoughts out of the way. Okay, so that then she can actually truly receive it. And as if you notice energy difference as I spoke, thank you, I already have it, it's already mine, opposed to where is it, right? There's such a coherence between the two things, being at peace with having it, being thankful, you know, being thankful for having it makes it immediately in you, having it this moment, opposed to not having it, which is chasing. The energy pushes it away. It's you telling universe, oh, it's not mine. It's still not mine. I have to wait for whatever reason because I'm still learning the lesson.
Yeah. Beautifully said. Thank you so much. While you were saying this, I was imagining like you at a quantum level, you know, and you want as you as source, the way that I see why we are in this evolutive path and different dimensions is, yes, we can go through the different fractions of the beings that created this reality and the beings that are helping for this reality to be transcended, for us to move forward into the next dimension and so forth. Yet, if we go at a core level, at a source level, we will see that source was finding different ways to recreate itself, to mirror, reflect into itself, because that's what consciousness is. Everything that has consciousness is capable to mirror itself as a feedback of who he is, she is, it is. That's consciousness. Why? Because that's the power of the mirror code, that portal in which you bring information from without, from the outside, to see who you are. You know, so let's say in this big story that Source was finding a way to recreate itself, to get to know itself better, as well as we are. You know, there is a phrase in the Matrix that if there is the oracle with Neo, and Neo says, I don't like to the idea of living in a reality that I don't have a will, because you already know what's going to happen. And then the oracle said, well, more or so the words, you know, and then the oracle says, you came here, you already chose before coming here. So you do have a choice. What you are here for is to remember why you made that choice. And if we go through this storytell of Source, you know, the fact that Source is creating all these realities to receive this feedback from different fractals of itself, including ourselves, then it's just the way that Source is remembering itself. And so ourselves at a different scale, we are remembering ourselves through every action that we take, through every choice that we make. So stepping up into that responsibility allow us to know that we have already chosen. No one has taken away the choice from us. We have already chosen. The more that we compromise to that heart coherence, the more that we will be able to remember what for. The why, the answer why will be for the ego, the ego. Why did I did that? Why did this happen? The what for will be given by our spirit to our soul. You know, the purpose of our choices, what for? What is the main hidden message or purpose behind these events? You know, so, and I think that that leads us to a high level of manifestation as well, because then, as you were saying, the example of the car, you know, it's, and again with the phrase of not being attached to the outcome, sometimes, and most of the times, we think that the car is the outcome. The path that we experience or render to get to the car, that's the true essential outcome, because that's what is giving us experience, which is information, data, which is energy, which is the truly impact that we are bringing with us for our reality. Because the car at some point, it won't come with us to the other reality. It's beautiful, it serves, it will bring you to Sedona or to the Rise of the Guardians or wherever you want to go, and it's awesome. The thing is that when we talk about detaching of the outcome, it's not talking about detaching of the car. It's mainly detaching from the very same path that will take you to the car. You know, and you said it beautifully, it's trusting the source. trusting also yourself, what you're capable to generate. And gratitude is fundamental. Gratitude.
You've heard me say it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, universe. Right? I
Yes.
always say it. Deep humility, deep gratitude in my heart. Thank you, universe. So that's the key. If that's the one thing that you do every day, and you start your day with thank you, universe, let's be thankful what we have. First, I awoke today, so thank you for my life. I'm moving parts and limbs. Thank you for the movement in my body. Thank you for feeling healthy, being healthy in my body. And the more you're thankful for, I like to say 10 things I'm thankful for each morning. I like to sneak in there some of them that haven't manifested yet. Because that's how they will manifest. If I thought of them, they will come to me.
I
And
love that.
that's really, really big key. So thank you, universe, for this amazing collaboration between you and me. Thank you, universe, that all the viewers that are viewing this amazing show in a channel and a live are getting change and a shift with this high vibration that it's being put through this, live. So
Hmm.
thank you for the healing and the empowerment of everyone and ability to take responsibility for their actions and to have that miraculous wish in their heart, that desire to manifest something amazing and be the change in this world by desiring to manifest peace, love, harmony, unity consciousness, because that will be amazing.
Yeah, so thank you. Thank you as well.
So
Thank
I
you for
think,
all this magic. Yeah, I was going to say, let's sound some bowls
yeah.
on behalf of that gratitude. I just want to address to the question that Aaron made. Can you all talk about your experiences with resolving fear that comes up as we stepping into unity consciousness? Do you want to go first, Adriana?
Sure. I mean, fear is just old programming. So I want you to think this way. It's something that ego, all the old pattern of this universe thought you, I go to work from A to B, and I always go to work from A to B and from B to A, and that's it. And I'm kept safe. Like, don't go into that part of town. Don't go into that part of town. And that's the fear. I've never been to that part of town, so I'm never going to go through that part of town because I've never been there. Right. But that is that fear rising of, I need to be comfortable. I need to stay in here. But in being comfortable, there is no growth. Okay. So I want you to think yourself, if the fear is arising, I'm growing. So I'm getting new experiences. They might be positive. I might view them positive. I might view them negative. We're human. We're always polarized. We're always going to view them as something. But universe really just views them as an experiences. So ask yourself, is this holding me back in a comfort? Because the growth of the lobster growing, breaking out of the shelf, it's being in this comfort, right? It has to go through this comfort as we're changing and shifting. You want to lose 30 pounds, you start walking outside. Does it feel comfortable as you huffing and puffing and you're fat? You can feel it everywhere. And then 3 days you're doing it, you start feeling sore. That is that fear wanting to keep you in a comfort. So go into this comfort and tell yourself, I want to change. And as a result of changing, I am choosing. This is my new choice. I don't want the old limiting beliefs. I'm choosing to shift. So you resolve the fear by saying, I choose this reality. I choose going into these choices. I choose these new experiences, even though they don't feel comfortable, because that's all fear is. It's that discomfort in your body. So the more you say yes to yourself, the more you say yes to making choices and experiences, the more you go into unity consciousness, because you realize that all the choices you make are part of the divine and they were here for your learning. Go ahead, YssaH.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Well, that goes to you, Aaron. Now, um, I would say that for me, fear, like if we go at biomolecular level, is the overproduction of adrenaline. You know, it's not the core, it's the outcome, as you said, when your body starts to feel threatened, by any means, then you start to create adrenaline, you start to create cortisol and other neurochemicals that actually start to paralyze your responsive wisdom, and they start to amplify your instinct nature. So this doesn't happen only when your life is directly and evidently being threatened. Otherwise, otherwise, we would truly be doing something more drastic about 5G,
Mhm.
and not using it, being kind of bypassing it, if that's how it truly works. So now you can get an idea of what a simulation this is, and how the field is being manipulated in what truly is what is threatening you. There is many people that even feel uncomfortable when it comes to expanding, evolving. Actually, that's more what happens in these. Uh, I was going to say Looney Tunes show, because that's the way that they programmed it. For the things that seem like really unlikely to be the essentially truthful, and for the things that are not at all true or accurate to be the ones sustaining the reality. So for
Mhm.
instance, most people feel uncomfortable with actually evolving, and
Mhm.
feel very uncomfortable with dying,
Mhm.
to some extent, seeing their light, like fade away. So for me, fear is, once I was talking about that at a biomolecular level. So there is again a polarization, there is an overstimulation of something that is being toxic for you. So yet you're focusing on the absence. So
Right.
while you're creating, overstimulating, enhancing a very specific thing, you're focusing on the absence, on the lack, and that is an illusion. So it's like that type of decoherence where you are something and you're super powerful over expanding something, yet you're focusing on the other. Another example would be focusing in the other and not in yourself. You know, that is another type of fear because you don't want to go inside. So for me, the fact of being aware of what I have and not in what I don't have is a way of transcending fear, because then I become aware that I have everything, that everything is within me, and that lack is just an illusion.
That's beautifully said. That's actually beautiful, because how are you going to get good at something unless, right? Like you can say, I'm not good with money. Okay. It's a statement. You want to get good with money clearly because you're saying that you're not, right? So you can educate yourself. You can read the books, it can gain tremendous knowledge about it. And then you become really good with money, right? Like just flip the coin, right? Of what you just said and affirmed, and start changing and be thankful for having it. So that's very powerful. So yes, that's also flipping the fear, facing it and flipping it on the other side.
Well, speaking of which, we have Ceci that was saying that she was talking about this, the resistance from the money mind. What do you want? There is something that you want to comment on that?
A resistance about the money mind.
Yeah.
So if I am all things and I'm part of the divine, then I have all things. And oh yeah, you were talking about like needing to go to job and to work every day, right? um so first of all, sometimes we do come in because we do really want to learn certain things. We go to school because we really want to study certain things. We're passionate about certain things. We bring in certain astrological traits with this cloak of personality that we bring in because we really want to study it. And then we choose to have every day 9 to 5 because it's just fun to us, right? They always say make sure that you're having fun every day what you're doing, because if you're not, then you're just working, and it's not serving you. At that point, it's disserving you because you're just creating a bunch of different karmic relationships around you. So first of all, come to peace that what you're doing currently in life, you're having fun. If you're not having fun, then find something that you're having fun. Okay. And then while you're having fun doing it, and it's really feeling your heart, where it kind of feels like this cup, right? And then it starts overflowing and overflowing and overflowing. And you're just sharing that joy. Like, I've seen a person bake bread, and he fills their heart to bake that bread. And they love watching people coming by their booth or their store where they're selling the bread, and they have this amazing energy because they bake this energy in whatever they're giving to you in that bread or in that meal, right? Like, they love what they're doing, and you can feel that passion. Or they're creating candles, or they're singing. It's so different. You can energetically feel when somebody loves doing what they're doing, because you feel the passion and the conviction and the excitement and the joy that it's pouring out of that cup that they're bringing to you. And then you're drawn to these people because they have something that you want to be receiving from them, right? If there's two bread bakers and one is happy and joyous and excited, and I don't know, gives you a free roll because he sees how much you love his bread, and you coming back over and over, you can always go to him opposed to someone who's miserable. Like, you want my bread? You really want my bread? Okay, here, fine, there's a load. You know what I mean? There's difference. So first is the key, right? Finding what feels your soul. And then showing up every day and doing it with joy and fun, right? And then there's your resistance with money. Like, are you really resisting being paid? Like, I always tell people, I'll gladly swap with you. What are you going to swap with me for that I could use? I'll gladly go for it, right? Like, if we wouldn't need the money, right, then we would be swapping around. You give me bread, I would give you shoes or whatever I'm making, or I would give you a healing session, and you would, cook me a meal. It would be the most wonderful thing. So it is shifting your persistence to that resistance with money. Some people don't have anything that you need. That's why we have money, right? That's why we created some sort of currency. I was watching some sort of show with my daughter, and they were exchanging snails. That was, that's what they called money, was the snails that they were giving to each other. I would pay that many snails for it. What does that equal? You collecting snails around the forest so that you can exchange them for something that this other person have. So you having a resistance to money, it's you resisting to an exchange with another person. And why would you have a resistance to that? If they have something that you desire and you have something that they desire, let that exchange happen. Money is just used as a tool, as a vehicle in that exchange for you and for the collective.
Yeah, that's a huge topic. Perhaps we can do another
Yes.
show on that. Yet I just want to say that I agree. Even money has a spirit in a way that it's already an egregor.
Yeah,
So
it
it's
is.
already, is part of the consciousness of the collective. So now, if it is a bridge, a way to, we can make it so sacred, because energy is just energy, is what we do with that energy. That's the important thing. And another thing is that how I see it's also very much connected to the self-worth. You know, do you worth yourself enough? Do you think you're valuable enough? Then that the universe is going to reflect that back at you. You know, and worth does not only come by saying, "Oh, Yes, I'm worth it. That's one side of it. Another side is by your actions. Another way is by your thoughts. Another way is by, all things involved. And now if we take that into, let's say at a more unified level, what would worth represent into our unconscious? What is worth for you, Adriana?
It's for me, it's the difference that I can make in a world. That is my worth to me. My
Oh,
existence, my being, my creative expression, and the difference that I can make in a world. How about you?
that's so beautiful. For me, it's being the most evolved version of myself. Because then again, it connects with what you're saying,
Hmm.
being there in the place that I am being required to serve planetary and interplanetary wise here.
Hmm.
I am the most evolved version of myself. I'm capable to deliver to the ones that trust in me in the most integrative way and coherent way possible, and
Hmm.
so forth, you know? And yeah,
Yeah, being your pure sovereign self in every moment. That's the most beautiful thing
yes.
one can be. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, so let's play some bowls. Let's clean everyone's heart.
Hmm.
Or should we clean with the salt bowl first?
I might jump in every once and then with some light language. I don't know
Okay,
if I will
perfect.
be doing so much frequencies because my throat is kind of integrating other aspects.
Correct, of
Uh,
course.
yeah.
So
Okay.
first we're going to be releasing with the salt bowl at the power center solar plexus because we attach to emotional people, items, emotions at our solar plexus. So we're going to be releasing that. So just take a deep breath in. Another deep breath in. Then let it all go out. Off it goes. Blow it out. Old attachments. Third deep breath in. So salt is really good to let things go. Now that we release things with this great salt lake bowl, we're going to install some new healthy loving patterns in our heart with this beautiful heart bowl. So allow the energies of love to permeate your body. Affirmations such as I am that I am.
Ai một nhiều một ai kale mai 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 tia kunu muôn ya fuwais le out urus subati sao him
And there we are.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, do you want to show all the balls that you have so that people is aware of what they will be tuning into if they call you or contact you for a session?
So when we do a session, it's either something's not manifesting in my life, or there's an old pattern, or there's an old relationship that's not working out. So I usually get downloads about the bowls, which bowls will be working with the person. I do see past, present, future, as you know, and I do see where the blocks lie, where the point of origin has taken place, that it's holding the person back in the holes of the amenti. So we'll go back in. So some of the bowls that we have, change your mind, will be this beautiful cry of praise that also works on the heart. So there's a third eye and heart coherence bowl that I will be working with to be changing your thought patterns. And then this beautiful crown, which is a Utah hot springs. As you know, hot springs are absolutely amazing. Just
Wow.
having been at the hot springs in Mexico with you, that experience was otherworldly. Again, if you ever get a chance to go on a trip with YssaH, you should absolutely do it, because that place was so magical. I often go there in my meditation. So yeah, hot springs. She does have this beautiful tesseract in there, which is
Ooh.
the manifestation.
Cool.
She's a crown chakra bowl, so she does change your mind, bring in the new information from the other side. We do have a divine cryon, very beautiful again, for changing your thoughts, speaking your truth. So there's many bowls here. And
Beautiful.
it's funny, one of my recent clients literally said, "You have a bowl for that, don't you?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." So I work on old patterns changing. As you know, bowls, it's sound vibration, goes right in, does auric surgery for me so that I don't have to do it while I'm either singing to it, if I'm led singing to it, or just doing the forgiveness, or just simply tuning, bringing the coherence in the physical body. And that's how I kind of use them. So that's many more bowls here. I'm not going to waste everyone's time showing them. If you do go in a session with me, we will be working with them. You'll be hearing them. They'll be transforming your lives. And so that's what we do. Thank you all for showing up. This was amazing. Thank you, YssaH, for having me
My
on
pleasure.
your amazing live podcast. I've been watching all of them, and every time I watch, I learn so much information from all these different people that you bring on, and it's such a fine and amazing network. And I can't wait to see everybody in Sedona in May.
Yeah.
This is my new car, yeah. Thank you, universe. Thank you,
Yeah.
universe. Yes, absolutely. And so,
Yeah.
everyone, thank you, universe, for the abundance and prosperity so that I have enough to go to Sedona to this amazing event, right? This is the
Yeah.
sentence that we're going to be saying every day. Thank you, universe, for my abundance and prosperity.
Yeah, for the ones that are in that point that have mentioned in some of the comments that will be manifesting to come, well, you have had powerful keys, clues to manifest. Um, we are manifesting as we exist, like
Correct.
consciously, unconsciously. The thing is to direct the energy in the right way.
Correct.
So, and key note for sure, the
And
heart.
the thoughts here. Maybe I should chime this thought ball to kind of clear everyone's thought.
Sure.
To just, I can manifest anything I wish for. Thank you, universe, for my abundance and prosperity for this amazing coming up trip to Sedona. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you know what? When I say about the heart, yes, the thoughts are super important. What I can share with you is that because and thank you for bringing this because this is super important. Like there is many people that is dealing with those thoughts. I have just found that the more that I empower my heart, the more that I know that those thoughts are illusion. So it's a back and forward, a beautiful combination. So thank you for playing that sounding ball as well. Yeah, definitely felt it. All of them, all of them, all of them.
Yes, they're
I
strong.
can tell you guys that we would be in one of the places in the trip, and I was in my balcony in the room, and then I would listen her playing the sounding bowls in the restaurant at the restaurant, and it was so beautiful, so beautiful. Every time she would do that, we know that the sounding bowls are super powerful. Yet I can say from my experience that the level of love and commitment and presence that Adriana brings to them, they definitely make them a cosmic experience for sure. So if you want to reach to Adriana, where can they find you?
I'm shiningbluelight.com. I'm also on YouTube under Shining Blue Light. Adriana at Shining Blue Light. I'm also Adriana Merzgova at yahoo.com. And I'm one of your followers on Facebook. You can find me there too through YssaH. I'm easy to find. Yes. Thank you, YssaH.
Oh, thank you. Well, we said join us at the Rise of the Guardians, Sedona. Uh, a lot of Soul Tribe will be there, expanding the field, expanding the heart vortex through Sedona's vortex. We will have amazing appearances, amazing speakers. I'm honored to be one of them. I will be sharing novel technology, very much involving source code, and also, but yet all showing it as how the cymatics. One thing is the source code, as we spoke about it in the beginning of the video. The other thing is actually testing through a resonance generator, a frequency generator that I will be bringing, plugging it to someone who was present. We'll keep it as a surprise. That will be my guinea pig,
Okay.
and placing those electrodes to him, and then transferring that into Chladni plates so that you can see the cymatic signature of your own body through the frequency that you are essentially generating, because this is spirituality and science. So when you truly ignite and are aware of that geometrical light body, you can fractalize and expand it all the way to every codon in your DNA, every molecule, every proton, bring coherence of your geometrical blueprint and being the transmission of source, being light, activating your full potential brain wise, plasma body wise, biologically wise, and so forth. So yes, it's very exciting. I will also be talking about other new topics regarding to the 12 stranded DNA and how it is intertwined to the 12 wormholes on planet Earth, and how that restoration in harmonics, in quantum harmonics, is fundamental for it to be translated in your genetic imprint. So then again, join us. We will be having a lot of fun, and it will be followed by the Day of Being on the 11th. We will go to Moons Creek in front of Cathedral Rock. We will be doing a super powerful Stargate activation. The Way of Being Foundation will be there. So I will be there. Emily, Zach, Rion, Tone, we will be there, along with all of you, activating this Stargate. We know that there is a Stargate in Cathedral Rock, and then upcoming also surprises. So stay tuned. I also want to invite you to. I will be speaking at CLE on. I will be speaking at CLE. I will be giving the educational aspect for the artifact guardians regarding to the ET artifacts, the ancient alien artifacts that have been found recently, ever since 15 years ago, but that have been booming now, and in Mexico. So I will be talking from a scientific approach along with Trevor Miller. We did together a webinar with Emery Smith. And I will be also talking about the spiritual aspect of it. So, in a unified form of perspective. So join us as well at CLE. And we also have the alien event in March. So, and stay tuned for the alien event in March in LA. So, and there are more upcoming events. So stay tuned, as I will be sharing them with you. So thank you so much, Adriana. I truly, I don't think words will express how much I love you.
Correct. And I love you the same way. And as you were saying this, it was 1:11 a few minutes back as you were talking about technology. So very much so aligned. Yes, I love you exactly the same way in the unity consciousness. Ninth dimension love.
Yes. Okay. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
Saif, Jared, Amir, many comments. Thank you so much for your presence. Love you all, guys. Tori, Aaron.
Sending much love. Many blessings.
Until next time, HUNUH.
Take care.